Hello and welcome to episode 39 of TeachTechPlay. I'm Eleni Kuritzis and I'm the host of today's show. Today we have a fantastic lineup of presenters that will showcase some of the best things shared at the conference. So thank you to everyone who did attend our conference in April. If you're wondering why we didn't have an episode, it was because we were busy organising the event. So we're happy to be back in May and we'll be sharing some wonderful things that were at the conference, even some things that weren't, with some wonderful educators from around Australia. So before we get started, I just want to congratulate our episode 38 winner, which was Mark Anderson, and he shared VR and AR in the classroom. And I know it was a bit of a comeback for him because we had him on the previous episode where he, the product he shared then became discontinued. So he had to come back and share something again. So he took out the winning spot again, pretty much. So well done to Mark Anderson. Now, for today's show, make sure that you do vote for our wonderful presenters on our website. So make sure you go to our website and vote for your favourite presenter. Voting is open and will be open for 1 week, so make sure you vote for your favourite presenter. Now, I would like to throw over to those presenters that we have sharing today. I'll get Sam. Do you want to say, from Cyber Safety Project, because we have two Sams here today, if you would like to share with us where you're from and what you do.
Thanks, Eleni. Yeah, so my name's Sam McCauley. Currently, I'm a grade 2 classroom teacher at Old Orchard Primary School, but early in 2017, I started the Cyber Safety Project with my friend and colleague, Trent Ray, looking at a bit of a proactive approach in dealing with cyber safety from the foundation years onwards. It's really gone quite well, and we were lucky enough to present at the TeachTechPlay conference a few weeks ago. And yeah, looking forward to sharing a few tips and things that we implement in our programs.
Perfect. Thank you, Sam. We're excited to have you here because I know the work you're doing is amazing. Next, we've got Jackie Child. And do you want to introduce yourself and tell us where you're from? I know I've been following you on Twitter for a while and you're sharing out some wonderful things. So it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Eleni. My name's Jackie Child. I'm from Brisbane, where I'm teaching at a girls' school, private girls' school called St. Aidan's. I'm part-time teacher librarian. I job share with the amazing Megan Daly of Children's Books Daily. And also this year, my role has changed a little bit. I'm also now coordinating the technologies in junior school. So in my part-time, I'm pretty busy, but I love it.
Perfect. And we're glad to have you here today. Next up, we will have Michelle Dennis, who I have the pleasure of working with. So I'm glad to finally get you on the show.
Thanks, Eleni. Yeah, I'm very lucky to work with you too. I'm at Strathcona. I'm the head of digital learning and innovation, which basically means I get to play with all the fun toys. I'm a huge geek and I love working with particularly getting girls into technology from prep to year 12.
Perfect. Thank you. And I know what you'll be sharing is something that we've been working on together, which is really exciting. Next, we have Sam from Using Technology Better. Sam, welcome. It's been a while since you've been on the show, so glad to finally have you back.
Yeah, thanks, Eleni. I think it's been a couple of years.
Really?
Yes, as you said, I'm from, I think it is. I'm from Using Technology Better. So we provide training to schools and universities across Australia, New Zealand and internationally. So we're a team of 6 trainers. I think I've got that number right, spread across Australia and New Zealand. So we were lucky enough again to be at the TeachTechPlay conference with some of our team and present there. So thanks for having me on the show again.
Not a problem. And the team continues to grow. It's hard to keep up with how many are there now. And last but not least, Tim Kitchen from Adobe.
Hi guys, yeah, I'm not from Strathcona, although I used to be. So it's nice to be here and been involved with TeachTechPlay for a while. I am Adobe Senior Education Specialist for Asia Pacific, and my job is to travel around to schools and universities around the region to share the value of digital creativity in education.
Perfect, thank you. So we'll kick off the show now. First up, we have Sam, and you will be sharing with us all about perspectives of students to consider before posting on social media. And I know this is a topic that many of us today in education feel that some of us aren't equipped with the skills. So I'm excited to hear what you have to share and to give us some tips and tricks as well. So Terrific. When you're ready, let me know and I'll start the timer.
All right, I'll just share the screen now. All right, away you go, Eleni. So as I said, my name is Sam, and I'm from the Cyber Safety Project with my good friend Trent Ray. We look at going into schools and delivering content about really up-to-date and current cyber trends that are going on with young people today. And what I'm looking at talking to you guys about is we look at sort of perspectives. So we look at, we sort of talk to the students about 5 perspectives, and we don't shy away from some of the language that we use. So we've got the sicko, we've got our beautiful nana, we've got the bully and the bestie, and finally our future boss. So anytime we talk about posting anything online or onto the internet, we want the students considering this right from foundation well into high school about before I hit click, before I hit share, before I hit comment, before I hit enter, I need to sort of tick off how these things are going to be perceived by these 5 perspectives. Given some statistics around why we want students to think about this, it's that just under half of people under the age of 12 have had a social media account. Okay, that magical number 13 is a really, really popular one with those social media platforms when that they're allowed to use those social networking platforms, as I said, but more than half of the people under that age are using it. So we want them to sort of, if they are using it, even though they're not meant to be, they need to be thinking about those perspectives. We've also got that people that use social networking platforms are using their last name and address when signing up. Okay, we talk about those perspectives. Is that information that we want a sicko to know? Is that we want an information that we want everybody that's going to view our account to know? We've also seen through some research that 1 in 3 people that use social media have posted a picture of themselves in their school uniform. Again, this is identifiable information that people can use. They can start identifying patterns within your movement, things like that. And we do this, again, not to scare the students, but it's just that these sort of patterns and things that they are doing in their posting habits do impact what people perceive them. So again, we go back to those 5 perspectives that we want the children to tick off before they do hit click, before they do hit share, before they do hit post in any social networking platform, whether that is your Instagrams and Snapchats and things like that, or whether it's the online gaming things that plenty of the students are using. This was a pretty alarming one. And again, when we talk to particularly the upper primary school age as they transition into high school, it's that 36% of all online content, everything that's out there, just over a third is inappropriate or harmful. So if you're posting a picture online or something and it receives 6 comments, the stats show that a third of that, 2 of those comments will be hurtful and inappropriate. So we need to, we go back to those perspectives again. Here they are. We go back to those perspectives again about anything that I'm posting. Okay, is it giving the bully an opportunity to say something hurtful, negative? Is that going to affect my self-esteem?
1 minute.
Oh, thank you. Is it any information that this I'm posting, again, is it giving the sicko any information about where I live, what they know about me? The final stat, I'll just go back to the slide here, is that 1 in 5 students have experienced FOMO. Now, we had a parent night recently where that acronym meant very little to a lot of the parents, but it's in fact the fear of missing out. So with the prevalence of social media, particularly as they enter into the high school, a fear of missing out and seeing what their friends are posting and doing can have students affecting their self-esteem. So this was an important one to consider around the bestie perspective. Okay, things that your friends might be doing that you might not be included with, but you're seeing. How are you able to think about that before you post? Who isn't here? How might they perceive this particular post, this particular comment, and things like that? We've found that the perspectives have been absolutely terrific. We have some activities where the students design them themselves. But again, it's 4 minutes, absolutely flies by, but shameless plug if you can follow us on Facebook. But a big one is our digital parents survey, which we're looking to get 10,000 parents to complete by the end of the month. And we're well on that way. Sorry that I went over, Eleni.
No problem at all. If you just want to stop sharing your screen, it is amazing to see those statistics, because I know as a classroom teacher, we always know the impact social media has, but in particular, the one that you said about the amount of harmful comments on a picture. Like, it's just alarming. And how many kids these days are actually on social media under the age? And I always say to my kids, would you drive a car? And they go, no, that's silly. Would you go buy alcohol? No, that's crazy. So why are you on social media? Because that's got the same sort of age restriction. And I think, you know, in the digital age that we're living in, we need to educate not only our students, but our parents is a major one. Because I feel a lot of parents today also want to be their child's friend and think that it's cool that they're on there, but they don't actually realize the real impact that it's having, either from their lack of education. So I think what you guys are doing is amazing, and I'm actually excited to see what will come from that survey that you're sharing out, and I'll make sure that we share it out via our Twitter account and our Facebook page as well, just to get as many parents, because I know I'm not a parent, but I can't actually fill it in, but I've shared it with a few that I do know. So make sure you do fill it in, because it would be really interesting to see the data of the questions you're asking. Did anyone else have any questions or comments for Sam?
No, I agree with you, Elena. That's the stats are amazing, aren't they? Make you think.
Yeah, and I know that you guys from the Cyber Safety Project run incursions and parent information and staff professional development. So definitely reach out to Trent or Sam. I know we've had Trent on a number of times on the show, but the work you guys are doing is phenomenal. So well done to you guys. And any way we can help, we're happy to help, because it's something that I believe that all students and teachers and parents all need to know today. So it's great to have you on the show. Any other questions or comments?
For me, one of the things that always surprises me is how harmless parents seem to think that Instagram is in particular. That's all just about sharing photos of puppy dogs and food, and they don't seem to realize what half the content on Instagram is. So it's great that you're reaching out to parents as well, not just the students.
Yeah, we don't really accept that the naivety is an excuse, really, and we don't shy away when we speak to parents that just because you don't know, it definitely isn't an excuse anymore. So we've got some tips for parents about if they've got it, you've got it. You know, if you don't have time to know its ins and outs, then they shouldn't have it, because like it or not, sometimes I don't have children, but from what I hear, that children are sometimes trying to pull the wool over their parents' eyes and get away with a little bit, and then they're testing the boundaries, and that's when some unfortunate things might happen. So knowledge is power, and we're huge on that at the Cyber Safety Project.
Perfect. Thank you, Sam. Next, we have Jackie, and you'll be sharing about linking literature to technology. And I know you've been sharing a few blog posts about this, and when I've read them, I'm absolutely blown away with what you're doing. So I'm glad we can have you on the show to share a bit of that. So let me know when you're ready, and you can share your screen, and I will start the timer.
See if we can share the screen. Okay, we good?
Yeah.
We have the screen up. Excellent.
Perfect.
Okay. So what I want to talk about today, we can start now, Elaine, is talking about how, as educators, we know the power of books, in particular picture books. So after sharing stories with our girls, we delve deeper into the understanding of the story, exploring the themes, the characters and settings, plots, and we often incorporate technology to really see how the girls can interact with that technology and in their response to the books that we've been reading. So today I thought I'd share a few of those books that I've used. First one I thought I'd talk about is A Very Unusual Pursuit by Catherine Jinks. After reading an excerpt from the book, the girls designed boggles, and these were creatures in the story. They used copper tape, LEDs to illuminate their work. Some girls even used Gibotronics as well, the little LED stickers. And this activity tied in really well with the Year 6 science and also with the DT curriculum. Next story is Mechanica by Lance Belshon. It's a beautifully illustrated story about robotic animals evolving in their own environment and which has been destroyed by humans. The imagination, the creativity of the illustrations naturally led to our girls designing and making their own robots. They used recycled materials and they brought items from home. And then the girls made them move by using things like elastic bands. Some of them used motors, and I love the one that used magnetism to make the little feature move. Next book was Different Like Coco. This is a huge hit with our girls. It's the story of Coco Chanel. And it's about being different, living in poverty, about resilience and fashion and design. And to demonstrate and to further explore the story, the girls used a shoebox lid and they created marble runs. But the difference was as the marble progressed, it would only be released once the girls had answered questions about the book or had a further discussion about the book. And the marbles would then stop and then continue down to the bottom. Some girls went on and used other books. You can see the picture there where they've used other stories to do similar. Some were flat, some were runs down. It also led to us open up a big marble wall where all the girls in the school would come along and create a marble run. And then the girls added things like LEDs and pulleys and spinning things to it too. Over there was the technology. This was a lovely story about The Duck and the Darklings by Glenda Millard. It's an enchanting story of friendship, of hope and joy. And here our year ones use squishy dough to make something they've created going from something unpleasant into something light, so that from darkness into light. And the LED shone. That one little girl used a big blob of squishy dough, and then she transformed it into a beautiful snail. And they're grade ones. They did a fabulous job with that. The next one is one of my favourite books. It's One Step at a Time by Jane Jolly. It's a very touching story of Luck and his elephant Marley, who steps on a landmine.
One minute.
Marley has a prosthetic leg, and so we used the 3D printer to design an elephant leg for him. Fluke, we used VR. The girls were immersed in underwater environment so that when they came to read the book, they had a better understanding of what it felt like. Next one's a favourite of Are We There Yet? We use robots to navigate around the story of Grace as she travelled around with her family. The next one is Ride, Ricardo, Ride. Now, this is it's a powerful story of World War II and affects the war in a village, especially the lives of Ricardo and his father. The significance of the bike in the story led us then to making bikes. And one girl used little bits to create the scene from the story and then make the bike travel around. And the last book today is Josephine Wants to Dance. This one we're working on. It's a delightful story of a kangaroo who loves dancing. Of course, our girls like dancing, so they videoed themselves against a backdrop, and then they place the recording onto a black slide, and they're using laminated sheets to make a hologram pyramid, and then they'll watch themselves dancing. Okay, so thank you for listening. I just nearly got there.
Perfect. And Jackie, thank you for that. If you just want to stop sharing. But I know the work that you're doing is phenomenal. And I think that today's libraries are transforming in the way that we're using them. But I do believe, and I know you've read a few of my blog posts as well, picture storybooks still have a significant impact in a child's life, no matter what the age is. So the way we can link literature to digital technologies is amazing. And as teachers, we need to think outside the box. And I know some of the ideas you've just shared, I know I'm going to go with Michelle, and I'm going to be like, hey, Michelle, let's do some of these cool ideas, because I think that's what sometimes our libraries need, is a bit of spark to enhance kids' enjoyment for books as well, because they've got so much digital technologies and iPads and things that they're losing connection with actual books. And you can incorporate both of those just like you've done. And it's amazing what you're doing, and I'm so glad we got you on the show to share that. So definitely reach out to Jackie if you've got any questions or need any help with that. I'm sure she'll be willing to help you. Did anyone have any questions or comments?
I know that in my classroom currently, Eleni, we're just covering sort of text to self, and every picture book there, I was just like, what a great opportunity to sort of what was happening in the book and link it to something that I'm doing right now with digital technology. And I was like, they were all terrific, Jackie.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, there's so much you can do. Any book, I mean, I've just selected those ones, but there's so many more. Clyde and Lester, we use Makey to clean up the environment. So many things you can do with it. And now we're addressing the descriptors on the DT curriculum, so it's just fabulous. I love books, so there we go.
And I even know with the book that you shared, Are We There Yet? I've done something similar, but use Google My Maps and get the kids to actually dot point all around Australia, so they get that perspective of where it actually is, and sort of retell the story on that.
Yeah, another one we did too, Elaine, was using the map of Australia, and then the girls would take in turn program their robot to an area, and then they'd have to go in the library and find books where that book is set from that location. So lots of things you can do with them.
Yeah,
it's very exciting.
It is amazing. It's very cool. I've got another book I just shared with my girls this week all about feelings. So we've been exploring different feelings and how we feel, but I'm thinking, Michelle, we could do something where they create a feeling character or something that expresses. So anyway, we can talk more about that on Monday. I'm getting ideas. That's what I love about these episodes, is I hear all these wonderful things that are happening, and then it sort of sparks my ideas of what I can do in the classroom. People ask me why I keep doing it, and I'm like, because it's PD for me every month. I just feel like I continually am learning something. So I'm very grateful for everyone sharing. So next up, we've got Michelle. And Michelle, you'll be sharing ThingLink and using 360-degree photos and annotations. So this is something we've been working on with our Year 6s, but you're also working with our Year 10s, is that correct, or Year 9s?
10s and 12s.
Yep. I knew it was I couldn't remember exact what year levels the upper secondary. But when you're ready, let me know, and I will start the timer.
All right. So VR is a huge passion of mine. It's something that I think can completely transform education, but I don't want to use it in a very static way. I want the kids to be creating for VR, and I think that's where the power is, when they're actually involved in producing. So what I thought I'd pick out today to talk about, since it's such a short amount of time, was the 360-degree photo annotation, which we've been working with the Year 6s with Eleni. And this is what it kind of looked like. Now, I can't share too much with you because I want to respect the privacy of the kids. So when you use a 360-degree camera, you do capture every single kid in the classroom. But what we did is we went on a school excursion, and we took 360-degree photos of each stop they went along the way in their tour. We then gave those photos back to the kids using ThingLink, and they were able to add text, photos. You can even add videos and audio files into the 360 photo so that tour gets embedded with their knowledge. So for excursions, it's great because so many times you're not quite sure if the kids are paying attention or not. You hope they're getting something out of it. But it means that when you get back, it's a great way to reflect and remember what was actually happening so that you can then draw those curriculum links. Next week, I'm on 2 field trips for geography. We're going to be going down to the Dolphin Research Centre, and we're also going to be doing something about the urban push at Year 12. So the Year 10s and 12s will be using this as part of their field trip analysis, and they can embed that into their assignments as well. It can be great for sports as well. Take a photo of a moment in a netball game and analyse who's where, make comments about how you felt, and put in videos about how perhaps professionals act in the same kind of situation. I'm hoping that Eleni will work with me and produce a 360 tour of the junior school where the kids create the content for it. That's something that I really would love to do, is have the kids show people around the school digitally rather than sometimes when you go on a school tour, it's hard to capture all that goes on and what's going on in the kids' minds. So I'd love to do that. And I want to do something in English as well, where we get the kids to dress up and create 360-degree scenes from text, and then be able to annotate those with additional knowledge, quotes, and analysis. So those are just some of the things I've kind of been thinking of doing. If you want to do this at home, you need 360-degree camera. So at school, we've got the Ricoh Theta V, the latest one, which is 4K. But I picked up a Samsung Gear 360 for home, and that was about $100 from Amazon. So if you look for it on special, you can sometimes pick them up quite cheap.
1 minute.
It's good to use a selfie stick because otherwise there's this awkward hand that's caught in it. I use the website ThingLink. The reason I use it is because I can have an educator account and set up my students on it and give them photos, but round me as an alternative. And ThingLink gave me a 10% discount code, which was Engage10. If you do want to use it, you do have to pay to use the 360 photo aspect of ThingLink. But if you want to use just flat photos, that part is free. I absolutely have really enjoyed working with it. And I really hope that if you have trouble setting up, we did find sometimes it was a little bit quirky. Please reach out to us. We've sorted most of it out. So yeah, I'd really be happy to help anyone who's kind of working out how to make it work in the classroom.
Perfect. And you have 3 seconds to go, Michelle. So perfect.
Please use VR. There we go.
Now, I'd just like to say, yeah, it's been amazing. And I know you were just brainstorming some ideas, but I had another idea just then as well. We could even get kids to create 360-degree choose your own adventure stories. So they actually tell the story, but then you can choose which way you want to go to tell. Anyway, that's another idea. That could be down the track. They've got to get used to it first. But you know,
should do that.
Yeah, the opportunities are endless. So you can think of really creative ways and get the kids to do it. Yeah, as I said, it was a little bit confusing at the start to set it up, but now we've worked it out, haven't we? It just took us a little bit of time. So definitely reach out to Michelle, not me, because she set it up. If you do want some help, because it's amazing what the girls have created. And I know our Year 6s have done that reflection. They shared it at assembly, and now it's up on their blog page for their parents to see as well. So it gives them an insight into what learning is taking place, particularly on excursions, where sometimes they come home and the kids will say, oh yeah, it was fun, or oh no, it was boring, we just looked at plants or something, but you know, what was the actual purpose of it? So huge thank you, Michelle. Any questions or comments?
I just have to say, Michelle, you've been my saviour today, because I've been working my Gears Samsung 360 and I'm having all sorts of trouble setting up. So I will definitely be in touch. Thank you.
Please do. I mean, I was at Dandenong High School this week talking to them about VR. I really think it's something that can transform education.
It's going to be such a big thing in education.
And Michelle, it's such a new area. In fact, we did a webinar with Max Schliessler from Swinburne University just last week about 360 and VR. And what they're doing at Swinburne is incredible. So really you are at the cutting edge and you're pioneering some very new technology in education and in the world. So keep up the great work. It's terrific.
Thanks. And I'll put Adobe plug in. There is a 360-degree filmmaking course in October, I think, on edX. So if you want to do 360-degree films and go into a different area of it, that's going to be coming up.
And I'll share the edX link for you later.
Perfect. Thank you, Michelle. Next up, we've got Sam. And Sam, you'll be sharing classroom screen.
Yes, I will. So I'll share my screen now. Cool. So just let me know when you can see it and then we can start the timer.
Ready to go. I can see the squirrel looking at me.
Lovely. So I'm going to share a little tool called Classroom Screen. The website for it is right up top there. It's just classroomscreen.com. So this was put together by a teacher out of the Netherlands, actually. It's completely free and it's just a really quick tool you can use to create a bit of a dashboard that you might put up on the smartboard or display on the projector. So I'll run through the tools and then I'll talk a little bit more about how to use it. So everything's down the bottom here. You can pick your own background. I like Mr. Squirrel, but you can pick anything you like and you can upload your own background picture if you want. So you might have something that's specific to your classroom that you want to pop in there. And then you've got all these little widgets that you can pop on your screen. So for instance, we've got sound level here, and I'm maxing it out at the moment because I'm talking so loud, but I can actually have a sound meter on the board in the classroom so the kids know whether they're getting too noisy or not. I've got a random name generator, so I can pop that up. Now I've prepared it earlier with us on there, so I can use this to choose a random name. Now, you can either just type them in or you can copy and paste them from somewhere. And once you've got them in the first time, you can actually save it or download that list of names and then just upload them next time, ready to go. You can also roll the dice if you want to have some random number stuff going on as well. So you can have multiple dice. And then one of my favorites here is the QR code generator. So it loads up with just a default site of their own site, but I can change this to any site. So I'm going to be particularly nerdy and put in just the ABC here in Australia. So if now that I've done that, they can scan that QR code and it's going to go straight to the ABC, and I can keep changing that during the class. And if I want to, you can see down the bottom here too, some of these little widgets have little +1s next to them. So I could then add another QR code generator if I wanted multiple on the screen at the same time. And when you're done with them, you click these little X's. So I'm going to take a couple off just because I've got a bit much building up. So this one here, drawing, this gives me a full screen whiteboard where I can then ink if I've got a pen, or I can just draw some stuff if I want to. Down the bottom here on the left, I can change the paper in the background, so lines, etc., black, white, Close that. Other thing, if I just jump back here, is I can have, sorry, let me just go back to the main back. How about it? All right, there's that one. That's what I want. I can put a small drawing on as well, and into here and into the other one I can upload pictures as well if I want to display a picture. I have a small text box, so I can put pictures in here too. Close the wrong one, bring the text box back. So I can type instructions and have that kind of stuff up there. And then some of my other favorites, I can have the work symbols. So I can say, we're working in silence, or we're whispering, or we're doing, ask a neighbor, or we're working together. So you can have those very clear visual indicators of what you want the kids to do.
1 minute.
Thank you. You can also have your traffic light. So this might be in terms of noise again, or work, or just, I read as well, whether you want them to be able to interrupt the teacher or not. One of my colleagues as well has used this in her classroom, in that the students actually have a classroom screen up on their own device, and they have these on their dashboard, and they then show the teacher if they completed a task working together, how they're feeling about the task by using the traffic lights, and they screenshot it as well. Then we have tools like a little timer. We can have just a normal timer or a stopwatch, and we also have the clock if we want to. So there's some of those tools. One thing I will try and really, really quickly show is if you want to have multiple tools for different groups, you can actually use the drawing tool to say draw a line and say group A, group B, and then you might have different tasks and different stuff, so you can use it for multiple groups. Last little thing in here, if I hop out of that, little pancakes on the side there, you can find more tips and tricks and how it works. And that's it for me.
Perfect timing, Sam. And that is amazing. I haven't actually heard of that. And I can see already ways we can use it, because I use that traffic light for my kids. So I always say to them, what zone are you working in? We don't want to work in the red zone. That's telling me you're working too hard, like you don't understand the content. We always want to work in our green zone or our yellow zone. So, for different tasks, you can sort of select the light, and, you might want the group working with you in their difficult zone because you're learning a new concept. So, yeah, really cool. Is there a cost to it, or is it free?
No, completely free. And he writes, it's free and free forever. So it's just, single teacher in the Netherlands who wanted to bring together the stuff he liked using in his classroom. So he's just put it out there. There's no ads, there's no data collected. It's really quite just a clean, honest app.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I think I might have to introduce that to a few teachers who are wanting something like that on their screens, especially for some kids, wanting to know what type of work time it is. I like those images there that come up. Any other comments or questions for Sam?
I love you don't have to double handle to make the QR code. It's just there, ready to go.
Yeah. I just saw two things. I'm going to totally 10 seconds, Eleni. I'm going to be cheeky. You can't save your classroom screens, but they've designed them that you can set them up in less than 30 seconds. So just keep that in mind. And there was an exit poll feature that I didn't show to, where you have that up on the smart board and the kids can touch on the way out, or you have a tablet or whatever. So.
Perfect. Any other comments or questions?
It's interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And last but not least for today's show, we have got Tim Kitchen sharing creativity with Adobe tools. And I know the Adobe tools continue to inspire and amaze me with what you can do. I know at the conference you shared some amazing things, Tim, so we're glad to have you on the episode again to share some more wonderful things. So let me know when you're ready and I will start the timer.
Thanks, Eleni. We'll start sharing my screen, hopefully. There we go. Get into presentation mode. So as I said earlier, I'm from Adobe, and I've been a teacher for over 20 years in Melbourne. And now I get to travel around the Asia Pacific region sharing about creativity. And our theme at Adobe is to encourage and foster creativity in young people and in teachers, and give them new, rich ways to communicate their ideas. I just want to touch on a little bit of research that we were looking at last year from the World Economic Forum, looking at the top 5 skills that we're looking for in people to thrive in the future. And notice that creativity is now considered the 3rd most important skill to thrive in the future. And 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, that was the 10th most important skill. So who knows, it could be the top most important skill in the next 10 years. But notice the most important skill is complex problem solving, and that actually has been the most important skill according to the World Economic Forum for the last 10 years. So when you combine creativity and problem solving, it's a key area that we focus on at Adobe. And as you can see on this slide here, these are all the apps that we have, that we share out, and they're used by educators and students around the world. If we break them up, these are the ones that require the power of a desktop or a laptop. And these are the ones that most schools now have access to. Every secondary school in Victoria, the government school, has these. Every primary and secondary school in New South Wales, government school, has these, because the government provide them for the students and the teachers. All independent and Catholic schools around the region are purchasing these, and they're being used in all sorts of creative ways. Eleni pointed out the puppets that I use when I do my demonstrations and presentations, and I use Character Animator, which is a wonderful tool to mimic a puppet. You build the puppet in Photoshop, or you download the puppet if you don't want to build it, and then it mimics your mouth and your facial movements. So as you open and close your mouth, your puppet opens and closes its mouth. So it does animation in real time, and means you can do some really creative things. A bunch of other tools there which are very professionally used, but I'm also seeing these used in primary schools and obviously in secondary schools as well. But we're very proud of our mobile apps, and these are all free. And I particularly want to focus on the Spark tools, because this is what we were looking at a lot at the TeachTechPlay conference this year and last year. Spark Post, if you're not aware of it, to make posters really simply and banners in literally just a couple of minutes. Spark Video, it does make a video literally in a couple of minutes, focusing on voiceovers, on animation, on text, and you can bring in anything to make a really creative story. We even give you guidelines on how to tell the stories in different genres. It's a wonderful tool. Spark Page is a really great way of embedding images and text and videos, and a lot of teachers are using Spark Page for digital portfolios. And now with a recent announcement, these are all available for students under the age of 13.
1 minute.
Thanks, Eleni. And it's important that you check with your IT administrators that they've got an Adobe admin console, and then you get access to all of these tools for your under 13. So just check on that first to see if you have. If you haven't, that'll come in time. So I just want to finish off by sharing the value of the Adobe Education Exchange, which was mentioned by Michelle just earlier, because this is where we have nearly 500,000 teachers sharing resources and ideas, like the VR course that's coming up soon. We do all of our MOOCs through this. We do live events regularly and lots of self-paced courses. HelpX is another great tool, because if you want to just get beginners classes or full-on advanced tutorials on any one of our applications, this is great for your students to be aware of. And this is also a YouTube channel, and with this channel, this is a nice way of getting very short little clips. So it's a relatively new one called Make It Now. And all our professional learning is managed through this particular site if you want to find out more. And I do a newsletter once a month if you want to subscribe to that, and that gives you access to that so that you can get that information when you need to. And of course, Michelle's part of our leadership program, and if you are interested in being part of our leadership program, that's how you can join through that link there. So that's a quick little 4-minute summary of what's available in the world of Adobe in education, and it's a privilege to be able to share that with you, and I've enjoyed working with the TeachTechPlay conference over the last couple of years. So thank you, Eleni.
No problem, Tim. Thank you for all the work that you do. I know that the Adobe tools, in particular Spark, especially now being available for under 13s, is amazing, because when it wasn't available, I was very devastated, because I really wanted to use it and I knew the wonderful things you could do with it, but that age restriction, we don't want to put our kids at risk. So to know that Adobe have thought and listened to teachers and made it now that it is available is amazing, and that it is also free is great, because I know that some of the products that Adobe has do have a cost, but obviously if you are in a government school, it is provided, and most independent schools also have it, or Catholic. But yeah, reach out to Tim if you need some help or support. He knows campus leaders across Australia, well, the Asia Pacific region really, so he can put you in touch with someone if you need help or support. But yes, I know that many people who attended the sessions at the conference loved seeing the wonderful things that Adobe tools can do, because it is endless, and the amount of the possibilities that you can do in your classroom just continues to grow. And I know every time I hear or see someone share something, I learn something new. So were there any other comments or questions for Tim? No, we're all good.
I'm just sad I missed the session. There are too many nice sessions to choose from. Couldn't get to all.
I know, and it's funny, every time I try to organise the Teach Tech Play conference schedule, I try to organise it around what I want to see, and it never works because there's always too many.
I just walked around for 2 days with conference envy because all I wanted to do was go to everyone's session. So hard.
Yeah, no, it is a wonderful 2 days, and I do want to thank everyone who did attend it. We will be sharing over the next couple of months a few of the presenters from the conference. We'll be sharing little snippets of what they did do. So make sure you continue to watch the Teach Tech Play episodes. And on saying that, make sure you vote for your favourite presenter. So voting, you can access this via our website, and once you vote, then we will find a winner as well. But that actually brings us to the end of our episode, and I'd like to thank all of our presenters. Make sure that you do follow up with any of them on Twitter or Facebook, or if you can't get in contact with them, just let me know and I will connect you via an email. That's what Teach Tech Play is about. It's about connecting educators with others who can help and support them in the classroom. Hopefully we'll have some blog posts that can go alongside this episode as well, because each month we try to get a couple presenters now to write a post on this to showcase on our website. So make sure you do check that out. And I just want to also shout out to the community. If you have something you would like to share on an upcoming episode, please reach out to me. We know that many educators are doing wonderful things, and if you have something you want to share, just get in contact with me. Or if you want to write a blog post or be showcased on our Educators of Teach Tech Play, just reach out to me. I'm not scary. I'm here to help and connect people. So make sure you do reach out, because that's what it's all about, bringing the community together. But that's all from us today. A huge thank you to our presenters, and I will see you next month for a very special episode 40. I can't believe we're up to episode 40. If you had asked me when I first started this would be up to episode 40, I don't think I would have believed it. I thought no one would watch or no one would be interested, but it's great to see the success from Teach Tech Play, and it continues to grow. So make sure you share it with others. Many things you can take straight back to the classroom. So huge thank you for joining in, and we'll see you next month. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.